Welcome to Madison's podcast. I'm Claire Brooks, and I'm joined as always by Marcus Hayes. And Marcus, I have to start today with a conversation I had yesterday with a friend of mine, Elena, who is learning English. She told me she felt completely exhausted after just a 30-minute coffee chat. She said, Claire, it feels like there is a tiny, incredibly strict customs officer in my brain inspecting every single English word, comparing it to my native Spanish, checking its visa, and only then letting it out.
A cognitive customs officer. That is a brilliant, if slightly exhausting image. But you know what, Claire? Alina is hitting on something incredibly real. In cognitive science, we actually call this the translation bottleneck. When you try to speak a second language by constantly translating from your first, your brain is essentially running two massive operating systems at the exact same time.
Right. It's like trying to run high-end video editing software on a laptop that's already processing a massive database. But why does it feel so paralyzing? Elena was saying she knows the words, but the delay makes her feel like she's constantly failing.
Because she's relying on her native filing system. Think about it this way. If your brain has to take a concept, look up the Spanish word, match it to the English equivalent, check the grammar rules of English, and then send it to your mouth, that is a 5-step journey. By the time you finish that journey, the conversation has moved on. The other person is already talking about something else, and you're left with this heavy sense of hesitation and anxiety. It's not a failure of intelligence. It's a structural logjam in the brain.
A structural logjam. That makes so much sense because when she's trying to remember if a verb is irregular or if the adjective goes before the noun in real time, she's not actually listening anymore. She's just doing math in her head.
Exactly. You are doing linguistic algebra while someone is trying to tell you a joke. It doesn't work. And today, what I really want to do is help Elena and everyone listening dismantle that customs booth. We want to bypass that translation step entirely and build a direct, high-speed line between your thoughts and your English.
Okay, Marcus, that sounds amazing. But how do we actually do that? If you've spent years translating, how do you just stop? It feels like telling someone to stop breathing.
You start incredibly small. We're talking micro steps. I call this the name and notice method. Claire, look around your immediate environment right now. What's one physical object near you? Don't think about a sentence. Just name the noun.
Coffee.
Perfect. Just coffee. No, I am drinking coffee. No, this is a hot cup of coffee. Just the raw label. Coffee. Now, let's expand that to a simple, low-pressure 2-word phrase. A noun and a descriptor. What's the coffee doing? Or what is it like?
Coffee. Hot. Or coffee warm.
Yes. Coffee warm. Notice how we completely bypassed grammar there? You didn't worry about the coffee is warm. You just linked the physical sensation of that warmth directly to the English words. You're building a direct conceptual bridge from the object straight to the English sound, without your native language serving as the middleman.
So instead of thinking taza, then translating to cup, then saying cup, I just look at the object and let the sound cup attach directly to the ceramic thing in my hand.
Precisely. You are gluing the English word directly onto the physical world. Let's try another one. What else do you see?
My cat. He's sleeping on the rug, so cat sleeps.
Cat sleeps. Brilliant. It's simple, it's visceral, and it requires zero cognitive customs clearance. Raw connection will always beat perfect grammar when you're training your brain to think in a new language.
Okay, I see how that works for physical things like coffee or a cat. But Marcus, what about abstract ideas? How do you learn a word like anxious or relieved without looking at a bilingual dictionary to see what it means in your native language?
This is where we have to retire the bilingual dictionary. Seriously. Hide it. Delete the app for a week. When you look up an English word and see the translation in your native language, you are cementing the translation habit. Instead, I want you to use Google Images or connect the word directly to a sensory memory.
Google Images? Wait, how does that work for an abstract word?
If you search the word anxious on Google Images, you don't see a definition. You see photos of people biting their nails, staring at clocks, looking overwhelmed. Your brain immediately understands the feeling of the word without needing a translation. You're mapping the English word anxious to a human state of being, not to a word in another language.
Oh, that's fascinating. You're bypassing the text completely and going straight to the emotion.
Exactly. Let's play a quick word association game to show how this works. I'm going to say an English word, and I want you to tell me the very first physical sensation or memory that pops into your head. Don't analyze it. Ready?
Okay, I'm ready. Let's do it.
Freezing.
My toes in January, walking on the kitchen tile.
Perfect. You didn't think of a dictionary definition. You felt the cold tile. Next word. Joyful.
The smell of fresh chocolate chip cookies coming out of the oven.
See? Chocolate chip cookies. You're connecting joyful directly to a scent and a feeling. That is how you anchor vocabulary in your nervous system. That word is now yours. It doesn't need to be translated anymore because it's tied to your actual life.
I love that so much. It feels so much more alive than memorizing lists. But Marcus, what about when you're alone? A lot of learners tell me they want to practice, but they're terrified of making mistakes in front of others. But then when they talk to themselves, they feel a bit silly, like they're losing their minds.
Oh, the fear of looking like a mad scientist, talking to yourself in an empty room. I get it. But private life narration is actually a safe, completely judgment-free sandbox for your brain. Nobody is listening. You can fail, stumble, and use terrible grammar. And the customs officer is asleep.
So how do we do this without feeling ridiculous? What does a simple morning narration actually sound like?
Keep it very simple. Let's model it right now. Imagine you just woke up. You walk into the kitchen. You don't need to speak in perfect paragraphs. It sounds like this. Okay. Morning. Cold floor. Where is my mug? Ah, here. Making tea now. Water is hot. Nice.
That sounds like a caveman making breakfast. But you know what? It feels incredibly doable. It's not intimidating.
Exactly. Caveman English is the secret gateway to fluency. You're building the habit of vocalizing your thoughts in English as they happen. Once the pathway is cleared, adding the grammar later is easy. But first, you have to get the traffic moving on the highway.
And what about listening? You mentioned something called echoing to help with this.
Yes, echoing, or listen and repeat, is incredible for bypassing the translator. Instead of listening to a whole podcast and trying to analyze the grammar, you take a very short audio clip, maybe 3 seconds of a native speaker, and you repeat it immediately, trying to mimic the exact rhythm, speed, and music of the voice, without even thinking about what the words mean.
So you're focusing on the sound and the physical muscle movement in your mouth, rather than the logical definition of the words.
Exactly. You're training your speech muscles. It's like muscle memory for sports. When you hit a tennis ball, you don't think about physics. You just swing. Echoing teaches your mouth to swing at English words naturally.
Okay, Marcus, I want to test this. You've given us the tools, but let's see how fast we can get the brain to react when we completely remove the time to translate.
Ooh, a challenge. I love this. Let's do a speed reaction game. I am going to ask you 3 rapid-fire questions. You have to answer in less than 1 second. No thinking, no translating, just scream out the first thing that hits your brain. Ready?
Oh gosh, okay, ready.
What color is your shirt?
Blue.
What did you eat for breakfast?
Toast.
Where do you want to travel next?
Italy.
Look at that. Blue, toast, Italy. Did you translate tostata or Italia in your head first?
No, there was absolutely no time. I just had to throw the words out of my mouth before they got stuck.
That is the magic of speed. Speed forces your conscious, translating brain out of the driver's seat and lets your intuitive brain take over. And that is exactly where fluency lives.
This has been so eye-opening, Marcus. So to wrap up our toolkit for today, we have the name and notice method for our surroundings, using Google Images and sensory memories instead of bilingual dictionaries, doing simple caveman-style life narrations, and practicing echoing.
Yes. And here is my 30-second daily challenge for everyone listening right now. As soon as this episode ends, look around your room, pick 3 things, and name them directly in English. Just 3 words. No translation.
A perfect low-pressure way to start. Remember, fluency isn't about being perfect. It's a gentle, daily habit of building direct connections. Thank you so much for listening to Madison's podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, leave us a review, and share it with a friend who is on their own language journey.
Keep practicing, keep it simple, and we'll see you next time.